So hey guys, today I'm going to be doing chapter 4 for COMM 226 for Introduction to Information Security and Information. So let's go into it. So the introduction, well, one, it is difficult if not impossible for organizations to provide perfect security for their data. Two, there is a growing danger that countries are engaging in economic cyber warfare. And three, it appears that it is impossible to secure the internet. Information security impacts each and every one of us. So that's an important thing to memorize. And impossible to secure the internet. So information technology can have enormous benefits for individuals, organizations, and entire societies. Individuals can have their identity stolen. So identity stolen. Organizations can have customer information stolen. So customer information stolen, leading to financial losses, erosion of customer confidence, and legal actions. Countries face the threats of cyber terrorism and cyber warfare, terms of inter-based attacks. So 4.1, Introduction to Information Security. So security can be defined as the degree of protection against criminal activity, danger, damage, or loss. So here I'll highlight that. Let me make it bigger. Alright, should be good. So information security refers to all the processes and policies designed to protect an organization's information and information systems from unauthorized access, use, disclose, disruption, modification, or destruction. So let me highlight that. The processes and policies designed to protect an organization. I thought I changed that. Okay, looks good. So the threat to an information resource is any danger to which a system may be exposed. Exposure of an information resource is the harm, loss, or danger that can result if a threat compromises that resource. Vulnerability is the possibility that a threat will harm the resource. So today, 5 factors are contributing to the increasing vulnerability of organizational information resources. 1. Today's interconnected, interdependent wireless network business environment. So the evolution of IT resource from mainframe only today's highly complex, interconnected, interdependent, wirelessly networked business environment. So organizations and individuals are exposed to a world of untrusted networks and potential hackers. So let me highlight that. Exposed to a world of untrusted networks and potential attackers. A trusted network isn't any network within your organization. An untrusted network isn't any network external of your organization. So, highlight that. So 2, smaller, faster, inexpensive computers and storage devices. So modern computers and storage devices become smaller, faster, less expensive, and more portable with greater storage capacity that makes it easier to steal or lose a computer or storage device that contains huge amounts of sensitive information. So I'll highlight the main thing. It's just everything's getting smaller, faster, and expensive computers and storage devices. 3, decreasing skills necessary to be a computer hacker. Computing skills necessary to be a hacker are decreasing. Internet contains information in computer programs called scripts that users with limited skills can download and use to attack any information system that is connected to the internet. 4, international organized crime taking over cybercrime. Cybercrime is illegal activities conducted over computer networks, particularly the internet. So, cybercrime. Lack of management support. Management levels need to follow harsh procedures and demand employees to follow security protocols. Let me just make sure. Alright, looks good. So 4.2, unintentional threats to information systems. So the 2 major categories of threats are unintentional threats and deliberate threats. Unintentional threats are acts performed without malicious intent that nevertheless represent a serious threat to information security. A major category, unintentional threats, is human error. So let me highlight that. one of the biggest threats that we do as humans that we don't purposely try to is just humans making errors that we can't control or we try not to control. So here is I guess a picture that you guys could see how outside threats and inside threats correlate together and go inside in the process. So you have your internet on the top here, and then you have your natural disasters, fan-made disasters, hardware threats, other insiders, your system software, and then employees, and how that's all going around your corporate LAN and intranet. So human error. The higher the level of employee, the greater the threat they pose to information security. Employees in two areas of the organization pose especially significant threats to information security: human resource and information systems. Information systems employees have access to sensitive organizational data, but they also frequently control the means to create, store, transmit, and modify those data. Human errors or mistakes by employees pose a serious problem. These errors are typically the result of laziness, carelessness, or a lack of awareness concerning information security. This lack of awareness arises from poor education and training efforts by the organization. Human mistakes manifest themselves in many different ways. So here's a list of some of the human mistakes that could happen. So you guys could pause the video. I won't go through this since it's pretty long, but here you have the carelessness with computing devices, opening questionable emails, careless internet surfing, poor password selection and use, carelessness with one's office, carelessness using unmanaged devices, carelessness with discarded equipment, and then careless monitoring of environmental hazards. So you guys can read the descriptions, just pause it right now. And yeah. So social engineering. Social engineering is an attack in which the perpetrator uses social skills to trick or manipulate legitimate employees into providing confidential company information, such as passwords. Social engineering occurs when the hacker impersonates someone else on the telephone, such as a company manager or an IS employee. Tailgating is a technique designed to allow the perpetrator to enter restricted areas that are controlled with locks or card entry. The perpetrator follows closely behind a legitimate employee to enter those restricted doors. So shoulder surfing occurs when so let me highlight. Tailgating is one of them. Social engineering is another way. And then shoulder surfing occurs when a perpetrator watches an employee computer screen over the employee's shoulder. This is successful in public areas like airports, trains, and airplanes. So what they're doing is they're just looking at the person typing in their password, or like anything that the person is doing that's conveying information for the person to see. So that's called shoulder surfing. So 4.3, deliberate threats to information systems. So here is a list of deliberate threats to information systems. 1, we have espionage or trespassing, information extortion, sabotage or vandalism. 4, we have theft of equipment or information. 5, identity theft. 6, compromises to intellectual property. 7, software attacks. 8, alien software. 9, supervisory control and data acquisition. And 10, cyber terrorism and cyber warfare. So I'll be going through all of those that I just named. So espionage or trespass occurs when an unauthorized individual attempts to gain illegal or organizational information. It is important to distinguish between competitive intelligence and industrial espionage. So competitive intelligence and industrial espionage. So competitive intelligence consists of legal information gathering, such as studying a company's website and press releases, attending trade shows, and similar actions. So this is what competitive intelligence is. Industrial espionage crosses the legal boundary as by theft of confidential data. So this is industrial So competitive intelligence is something that's legal. Industrial espionage is something that's illegal. So information extortion occurs when an attacker either threatens to steal or actually steals information from a company. The perpetrator demands payment for not stealing the information, for returning stolen information, or not to disclose the information. Now we have sabotage or vandalism, deliberate acts that involve defacing an organization's website, potentially damaging the organization's image. A form of this is hacktivist or cyber activist operations. We have theft of equipment or information, stealing computer devices and storage devices. It's kind of self-explanatory. Identity theft is deliberate assumption of another person's identity, usually to gain access to their financial information or to frame them for a crime. Stealing personal information and databases. So let me highlight that. Compromises to intellectual property. So intellectual property is property created by individuals or corporations that is protected under trade secret, patent, or copyright laws. A trade secret is an intellectual work such as a business plan. A patent is an official document that grants the holder exclusive rights on an invention or a process. Copyright is a statutory grant that provides the creator or owner the intellectual property with ownership of the property. So if you guys are in business, you guys should know what a patent or copyright is. You could see it in any type of thing like music, or any business has their own copyright or patent laws. So software attacks, we have malware infects as many computers worldwide as possible. Virus is a segment of computer code that performs malicious actions. Phishing is deception to acquire sensitive information by masquerading as official-looking emails or instant messages. So let me highlight that. Phishing is deception of official-looking emails or instant messages. Denial of service attack sends so many information requests to a computer system that it actually ends up crashing. So ransomware blocks access to a computer system or encrypts data until an organization pays a sum of money. So there are many things to protect against ransomware infections. Backup crucial data and information often, preferably through cloud-based storage. So we have alien software is a clandestine software that is installed on your computer through duplicating methods. Sorry, I don't know why I wrote it weirdly, but and then it uses valuable systems resources and also tracks web surfing habits. So data acquisition attacks, so SCADA refers to all large-scale distributed measurements and control systems. If attackers gain access to the network, they can disrupt power grid of large areas, upset the operations of large chemicals or nuclear plants. Cyber terrorism or cyber warfare is malicious acts in ways in which attackers use a target's computer system, particularly through the internet, to cause physical, real-world harm or political agenda actions. 4.4 What organizations are doing to protect information resource. So a reason why it is difficult to protect is because of online commerce not willing to install safeguards, which would make transactions harder and more complicated. So online commerce not willing to install safeguards. And they don't want to do this because it would make transactions harder and more complicated, which could decrease sales. So the risk, probability that a threat will impact an information resource. Risk management is to identify, control, and minimize the impact of threats, reduce the risk to acceptance levels. Risk analysis has 3 steps. First, you have your assess the value of each asset. 2, estimate the probability that each asset will be compromised. 3, compare the probable cost of the assets being compromised with the cost of protecting that asset. So there are several risk mitigation strategies that organizations can adopt. 1, you have risk acceptance, accept potential risks. 2, risk limitation is limit the risk by controlling the threat. Then 3, risk transference, transfer the risk by using other means to compensate for the loss. So 4.5 Information security controls. The goal is to safeguard assets, optimize the use of organizations' resources, and prevent or detect errors or fraud. The single most valuable control is user education and training. So let me just highlight that because that's the single most valuable is education and training. Information systems must have antivirus or firewalls, protect individual applications with controls over how information is entered and managed. Security controls are designed to protect all of the components of an information system: data, software, hardware, and networks. So access control: restrict unauthorized individuals from using information resources. Logical controls are program limits for users such as login time or login location. Authentication confirms the identity of the person requiring access. So firewall, it's the system that prevents a specific type of information from moving between untrusted networks, such as the internet and private networks. So it prevents a specific type of information moving between untrusted networks. So VPN is a private network that uses a publicly network to connect users. VPNs enhances the user privacy. So employee monitoring systems. Companies protect that what employees can view and scrutinize their computers, emails, and internet surfing activities. Business continuity planning, backup, and recovery. The chain of events linking planning to protection and to recovery. Provide guidance to people who keep the business operating after a disaster occurs. Hot site reduces risk to the greatest extent, but are the most expensive. So 4.6, personal information asset protection. It is your responsibility to protect yourself, and it is more important than ever because risk and threats are growing. Never provide personal information to strangers or onto third-party websites or emails. Make sure the link you click is the correct one and certified. Make sure the number you are calling is the certified company number, and make sure that no company will ask for credit card number or personal classified numbers. Steps to security actions. Number 1, make an inventory of the types of information you are using, storing, or accessing. And number 2, consider what could go wrong if the information were to be copied or stolen. This will guide the level of protection. So here are some possible actions to protect personal information systems. Once again, I won't be going through this, but you guys could just pause the video right now and just look at it for yourself. And I believe that should be it. So yeah, guys, thank you for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to write a comment. I'll reply right away or as fast as possible, and I'll make sure to reply to your actual comment, so don't worry. And also check out the playlist in the playlist section to find more videos on COMM 226. I'll be uploading all the chapters that I have access to. So thank you.